Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the media briefing today. Happy Wednesday to you. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have Dr. Moreno with us from the Health Department with answers to your questions. And Dr. Moreno, do you have an update for us on any COVID issues?
No update, just ready to take COVID questions from the media. Sure.
All right. Here, our first question has come in. Why do you think COVID is surging in Europe, but not here in the United States?
Thank you, ma'am. I'm really focused on what's going on here in Monterey County in California. It's really where my focus is. And so I think here locally, it's still important for people to wear face coverings, but more importantly, that people get vaccinated so that we continue to reduce the spread of COVID locally.
Thank you. Next question. Do you anticipate a winter surge?
Thanks, man. So as we head into the holiday season in the winter months, we need to take extra precautions because there is a chance that transmission of COVID, as well as influenza and other respiratory viruses, could increase. So it's going to be really important for people to, again, first of all, get vaccinated against COVID, get vaccinated against the flu virus, but also wear face coverings. My recommendation is wear face coverings when you're in indoor public settings.
Thank you. Next question. In your expert opinion, is a mask mandate warranted for Monterey County at this time?
So as the health officer, I have issued the health department has issued a recommendation that people who are when they're in indoor public settings wear a face covering regardless of vaccination status to help reduce the transmission of COVID.
Thank you. The question was asking about whether a mandate would be warranted, and that would be, and perhaps I think the word this reporter may be thinking of is health order. Do you anticipate a health order?
So again, the health department's issued a strong recommendation that people in indoor public settings wear a face covering, and I support that recommendation.
Thank you for that. Next question. How many young children have reported side effects or negative reactions to being vaccinated? What were the symptoms, if any, and how severe were they?
I can take that question back to the team and see if we can get find a response.
All right. Thank you very much. Next question. How many people who contracted COVID but are not vaccinated have gotten the virus again? And how many of those have been hospitalized? How many of those have been hospitalized or died?
Okay, I'll take that question back to the team and see if we can provide a response.
All right, thank you. And then next question, do people who have had COVID still need to get vaccinated?
Thank you, man. In conversations with the California Department of Public Health and the state health officer, there's evidence that among individuals who've gotten COVID, that a vaccine can help boost immunity against future infections. So it's still recommended that everybody get a COVID vaccine, even if they've had COVID infection.
Thank you. And then I have a question about travel with the holiday tomorrow. Many people are traveling. What recommendations would you give to people who are traveling to meet with people in other households, even though they're family members, they're other households, safety for traveling?
Thanks, Mia. So first of all, I'd refer people to California Department of Public Health for the most recent travel recommendations. And other than that, I would recommend that people stay home if they're sick. Don't travel when you're sick. And if you get sick during your travels, try to isolate yourself so that you don't expose other people. And of course, if you suspect it's COVID, to get tested. And also, it's still a good idea to wear face coverings indoors whenever possible to reduce the spread of COVID-19. And in California and Monterey County, there's still a health officer order requiring individuals who are unvaccinated to wear face coverings in indoor public settings, because people don't just travel to friends and family's homes, they travel and visit other indoor public settings on their travel. So there's still a requirement that if people are unvaccinated in indoor public settings, they have to wear a face covering.
Thank you very much. Unless there are any other questions, those are all the questions that we have for you today, Dr. Moreno. I'm not seeing any come in. Thanks very much, Dr. Moreno, for joining us today.
Yeah, we'll take these 2 questions and try to get a response.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, our next topic is moving on to the Thanksgiving holiday, which is tomorrow, which is a food holiday. And many people will be preparing food for 1 person or 10 people. And I thought we might like to find out what health inspectors look for in terms of food safety that we could apply to our home cooking. And so for that, we have America Leon from our Environmental Health Bureau of the Health Department to talk with us about food safety topics today. Good afternoon, America.
Good afternoon. So I'm America. Could I share my PowerPoint that I have, just the slides?
Please do.
Okay, I will do that. Okay. All right, could you see that?
I sure can.
Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, I'll be talking about holiday food safety tips, and I just want to really emphasize personal hygiene. So whenever anyone's cooking or preparing food in the kitchen, want to make sure that everyone in there is not sick or feeling ill. And another important thing is to constantly keep washing your hands, at least 20 seconds, water and soap, and making sure to do that between cooking food as well as handling raw food. Okay. And another important thing with Thanksgiving is making sure to clean and sanitize. And a big thing with turkeys is a lot of people like to wash them. It is not recommended, but if someone does decide to do that, they can do that in the sink. And we want to make sure that the sink gets cleaned. And that could be done with soap, hot water, and a cleaning solution. For example, it could be a tablespoon of liquid chlorine bleach per 1 gallon of water. We would want the area to air dry. And another big reminder would be to use separate cutting boards. So separate cutting boards for fruits and vegetables, and as well as separate cutting boards for different types of raw meat. And in regards to actually cooking the turkey, want to really emphasize that people buy from approved sources. So that would be buying food from a facility that is approved and permitted with the health department. Basically, we want to ensure that any food that is being made and purchased is being prepared in an area that is inspected by the department. And basically what we do during an inspection is we make sure that all their equipment's working, they're holding food at the correct temperatures, they're cleaning and sanitizing, and all their staff is educated on safe food handling practices. So that's very important. And regards to proper thawing for the turkey, we want to make sure that the turkey is thawed either in the refrigerator or in cold water. If someone decides to do it in the refrigerator, making sure that it is in original wrapping, placed in a container to prevent any cross-contamination, and allow 24 hours of thawing for each 4 to 5 pounds of turkey. And if you're thawing in cold water, making sure the turkey is in a leak-proof plastic bag before being placed in the sink, and then fully covered with cold tap water. And making sure to change the water every 30 minutes, allow 30 minutes of thawing for each pound of turkey. And big thing is never thaw your turkey by leaving it on the counter. I really want to emphasize that. If you do that, it can create an environment where bacteria can harbor on the turkey, and it could actually lead to a lot of people getting sick. So we want to make sure that people are thawing correctly. In regards to the stuffing, we also do not recommend the stuffing is cooked inside of your turkey. And the reason for that is sometimes the turkey can reach the correct temperature, but the stuffing won't. So if you do decide to do that, we want to make sure that you have a thermometer at your house and check that the stuffing actually reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit, just to make sure that it is safe to eat. In regards to the turkey should also reach at least 165 degrees. And you want to make sure that you do not go based off the color of the turkey. And the three places where you would check the temperature would be the thickest part of the breast, the innermost part of the wing, and the innermost part of the thigh. And with Thanksgiving comes a lot of leftovers. So we want to make sure that food is stored in the refrigerator within 2 hours of being out at room temperature. Discard all food that has been out for more than 4 hours without any temperature control, which means not being held at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or below, or being held at 135 degrees and above. So any food that has been out with no temperature control should be discarded after 4 hours. And then in regards to reheating food, want to make sure that it's reheated to at least 165 to make sure that no one's getting sick. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be here, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. If anyone has any questions for America, go ahead and send them. I do have a question, and it's not just about the turkey, but about all the other good foods that are put out for those holiday spreads, the appetizers and the dips and the vegetables. And a lot of times those will get put out for several hours before people will snack, and then they'll go and eat their meal. What advice would you give people for the appetizer part of the day?
I would recommend that if they have the appetizers out, maybe have them separate them in containers. So you would have a portion of it that gets placed out as an appetizer, and that way you don't put the whole plate out. And because if you do, then it will have to get discarded after a certain amount of hours. If you separate it, you can have some in the fridge. If people need more, they can always bring it out, and that's my best recommendation.
And especially, I'm thinking of like dips and things like
Okay.
that. What is good time for dairy dips, cheeses, things like that for sitting out?
Oh, okay. So for sitting now, it's a kind of this rule goes for everything. Anything that is not being kept in the refrigerator, it has a time limit of 4 hours. After 4 hours, it has to be thrown out. If you're thinking about putting it back in the refrigerator, then I would only give it 2 hours and then put it back in the fridge.
Okay, so we need to be as mindful of our snacks as we do of the main meal. I don't have any questions for you. That was a really thorough rundown for turkey, and we'd like to come to your house sometime and watch you cook the turkey, because it better be really safe.
Well, everyone's invited.
Thank you very much for joining us today,
Mhm.
and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you, you too.
And then our last participant today is Hilary Thayer from the library, from our libraries, talking about some fun programs that you've got going on at the library. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Can everybody hear me okay?
Sure can.
Awesome. So a few pieces of just news and updates from your libraries and some suggestions to think about over the holidays. The first great piece of news is the County Board of Supervisors in November passed a change to our fine and fee resolution. And as of January 1st, we will no longer charge overdue fines on any library materials. That means if you borrow books or DVDs or audiobooks or hotspots, you don't have to be afraid of that one paperback getting lost under the car seat or behind the bed and costing you money in overdue fines. Items will still go overdue and you will still get notices. And if they are not returned, we'll bill for the item, but there's no longer going to be the 25 cents a day that can add up to quite a bit over time. And I'm just so pleased about that. And we want to spread out the word so that if people were not using their libraries due to overdue fines, they can come back, refresh their card, see us again, and start borrowing materials. Specifically for the holidays, I wanted to mention a couple of things that we get asked and might be useful to folks. One is we have strong wireless internet access at our branch libraries. So if you have visitors coming from out of town to stay with you for a while and they say, I need to work on Zoom, I need to get on strong wireless to do some things, I want to join with the family on Facebook, I brought my laptop, how can I do this? In addition to our computers in the libraries, we have wireless that goes outside of all 16 of our branches And most of our branches, it's on 24/7. So even on Thanksgiving Day at most of our libraries, you could drive over and sit outside and connect with your family on social media, for example, using our Strong Good Wireless. In the reverse, if you are planning to travel from the county and you need some wireless access, maybe you're going to a family home where they don't have good wireless, you can borrow a hotspot from your library with your library card. We have T-Mobile hotspots that can be just checked out for 3 weeks. They come all self-contained with the charging cord and instructions. So borrow one today, put it in your suitcase, and you have connectivity wherever you may travel in the country, whether you're getting on a plane or just spending some time in the car. So I wanted to mention those things as people are getting ready to travel. And if we can also provide anything enjoyable to you, like a great audiobook for that long car drive. We have books on CD. We have a new format called Play Away. And that's a great way for a whole family to be in the car together. Just put on something that the whole family can enjoy, and those miles will fly by. I did a lot of car trips as a child, and I really enjoy an audiobook when I'm driving. And you can find out more by calling your local branch of the Monterey County Free Libraries or visiting us online at emcfl.org. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I will pop the website and the phone number in the chat for you.
That would be great. And then I also know there are some special readers that some of your branches have, and I was hoping you might talk about that.
Sure. We have a giant grant project going on where we're putting in a lot more adaptive equipment for older adults with sensory disabilities, but anybody can use it. And at our Greenfield, our Carmel Valley, and our Prunedale branch, we've added these screen magnifiers. They're in the libraries. You come in to use them. All they do is magnify print that you put under it. So you can bring your bills, your bank statements, your prescription bottles, those teeny tiny instructions that come in some packages that are in like 6-point font, and you're expected to follow them to set something up. You just bring them in, sit in front of the reader. It can magnify it much more than a handheld magnifying glass can. It can also reverse the colors. So if your hardest time visually is reading black print on white paper, it can reverse it so you're reading white print on black paper, for example. And that can help some people really see. It also is not requiring you, the user, to have a computer, a smartphone, internet access, anything. You just bring your paperwork into the library and ask where it is, and we'll set you up and make sure you can see what you need to see. We, as part of this grant, we are also in the process of setting up access to Braille talking books from the California State Library. And I hope to have more. I hope to ask to be invited back in January, Maya, to talk about the Braille Talking Books program with you. It's part of our overall initiative to serve those with sensory disabilities in the county.
Anytime, Hillary. And we don't have any questions for you. People must be already calling the branches for their audiobook for their 6 to 8 hour drive.
I have checked out mine already, so.
Well, and you and I will be reading the same book this weekend too. So, but if you want to know what's on our reading list, you'll have to call me directly. Anyone who wants to know what Hillary and our reading list is going to be this weekend. Anyway, that is all that we have for today on the briefing. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.